I think it's one of the institutions that have grooming standards, very strict ones. Because you go to a barracks, you will see mirrors all over the place. And the mirrors have a reason for being there. You have no reason to tell your senior officer why for instance, your color is flipped at one side of your shirt or whatever. Because you would have gone through like 6 or 7 mirrors by the time you get to the officer's office. So those are places where we also learned, sometimes, they also present a lot of, what's the word, mentorship. Or let me say, I got my mentorship from there because a military man's shoes, it has to look a certain way, and even to polish it, because my dad was a military man. We learned how to polish, you wax the boots. Those days they had this metal plate at the whatever, so that place has to shine. So you wax this thing with polish for hours, and then the shoe will be sitting on your lap, and you have to use the rag to shine it till you can see your face in it and all of that. So you learn from these things. You iron military uniforms. It takes a while because those days it was khaki. Now it's because of camouflage, they don't often starch it.
Okay.
But those days it was khaki, green. You have to starch it and
very stiff in it.
So by the time you iron 2 military uniforms, you will learn how to do yours and do it better. So some of us, that's where the inspiration to look good come from. Yeah.
Wow. So it's no joke. Kofi, do you also, I want us to set the ground rule. Do you also agree that, how you present yourself in your adults, when you're much older, like you are now, starts from when you're a child?
Yeah, I agree with that. My dad was in the army too. My dad, yeah. So
wait, was your dad in the army too?
No. My dad was actually a colonel, so I know about the shiny boots, and they have very nicely ironed uniforms, fresh, clean, and then you look at them as a parent and you think, wow, he looks good. So you start picking up those things from a very, very early age as well. But coming back to school and inspections, I went to a disco, and yes, we had inspections literally once a week or twice a week where they came and inspected you, your bed, your trunk, everything, and everything had to be sharp, and you were scored. There was a scoring system with these inspections where you could see those who were actually always clean and those who were slacking. So at a very early age, this sort of stuff start instilling it into you as well. But I also grew up in a family of women, just being around me. So I pay attention to women a lot. Okay. What they do, how they do it. I've ironed a lot of women's clothes over my life. And I know how to do bras for my sisters. So you watch the time they take. Like you're sitting in the car ready for church and they're still upstairs. And you're thinking, this is important. So as a man, somehow you pick these things up as well from women.
I see. Okay. So for the young men or for people who didn't grow around, parents like that, and who probably have grown up not having these values. And by talking about, lots of people thought I was talking about the physical look of the person. We're not talking about how handsome the man looks or how ugly the man looks. No, we're talking about presentation and how you carry yourself. For people like that, would we fault them if they're not paying attention to themselves that much?
Okay, so I go back
because it's like you didn't have anybody teaching you.
If you didn't have anybody teaching you, I believe there are other people within the society, within the community that you live. And when we talk of grooming, the young man should not be thinking of something expensive that I have to go to the salon to have a pedicure, I have to go to the barbering shop every 2 days. Now, personal grooming. The first, for me, principle of dressing and looking good is that you must dress for yourself. One, you dress for yourself. What kind of underwears are you wearing?
Hey, that's...
Absolutely. So, Adam, listen, this is where the trick is. You're a young man. You wear one boxers for 1 week. You wear a singlet for 1 week. Immediately your body will gain some odor.
Okay.
So that's where it starts from. You wear one socks for 1 week. That's where you gain that body odor. So, I mean, your nails. Don't go to a grooming center. How much is a nail cutter? How much are lime or lemon being sold? I'm not saying go and buy an expensive deodorant. But at least, if you don't have money, look for lemons or lime. Get your own deodorant. I mean, the cavities.
Don't wear one boxers for 1 week.
And it's an underwear.
I can imagine.
These guys display it all around, and sometimes you ask yourself, come on. So you see, if there is nobody, there are people you look up to within the society that are towing a particular line. You learn from them. You ask them, how are they doing? But these basic things are things that you learn from school. I mean, the inspection in school and all that was not to give us any.
Oh, but people still flout these days.
Yes.
I knew someone who went to school, I mean the old system, for 7 years without ever washing their cover cloth.
Absolutely.
But when you go to a boys' school, you see stuff.
You see stuff.
You see stuff, you know. But coming back to the underwear and all of that, I think let's talk about how people perceive you for a minute, because I think there's almost an act of selfishness if you're not conscious how people are receiving you. Does that make sense? Because they say a smile is the first thing, the closest thing between two people. So you have to make sure your teeth are clean and your lips are, whatever, not too dry or whatever that looks like. And then there is also the aspect of the boxers that he mentioned earlier. Now, if you're wearing the same boxers for 1 week,
So
you
how long can you wear one?
don't care.
How long are you?
Only as one a day for me.
One a day.
There are times where I'll do 2 a day if I have to. Yeah. It's got to be one a day.
Depending on where you're going.
1 a week.
Yeah. It can't be one a week.
Wow.
Yeah, but then you're looking after your personal self. It's the respect you're having for your personal
yourself.
self. The boxers and the underwear is something people are not even seeing.
I like that bit. The
But then
respect you have
for
yourself, your
first.
personal self, before how other people are perceiving you.
Great.
So if your boxers are dirty and you're wearing the same one all week and you look so polished outside, what message are you carrying?
Yeah.
Polishing on dirt.
Who are you deceiving?
Who are you deceiving? It's how you feel, not how other people are
And the
perceiving.
respect you
Have
show
for yourself. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, we want to add something to that before I ask my next question.
It's taboo.
To wear one boxers
No,
for a
that's
week.
a taboo. It's not cool. There's this story we heard growing up of someone who was rushed to the hospital and had worn whatever was underneath for God knows how long. And when he got to when the person was almost unconscious, but when they got to when they had to take off the trousers, he became conscious.
Oh wow.
That bad, So one wouldn't know when that kind of emergency, So
For
it's
you.
also good to just
Okay, so I mean, 2 questions on my mind, but this one will come first. How important then is it for men to pay attention to these things? Now, once we talk about the importance, I want to find out if this is so important, why do some men take it for granted?
A lot of things are important in life, and you find certain people taking certain things for granted. I mean, it's a fact of life. You wouldn't get everybody towing a particular line.
No, especially so if I have to, take it from the points Kofi dropped about. This is also about showing yourself, your body, some respect.
Yeah. People will be carefree, no matter how long you drum it. Okay, so that one, I don't know how you have to put it. It is very, very, very important. Even especially in our modern day, where there's so much women are looking to when they meet a guy. There's so much your wife is looking to because of the kids at home. In terms of the woman wants a total man. Total and a complete man. It's not because you can have all the money, but when she steps out with you, she steps out with you. What kind of a man am I stepping out with? And so, I mean,
is she enduring you because of your money?
For your money, or, you know, she will have to have something better. And so, it is very important. But as for not getting every single man going that way, it cannot be. Some people will be carefree, like to wear their shirts without ironing them, will be looking for one socks for hours in the same house, you know, will dress a certain way. Some don't care. But the question is, what are you doing to yourself? Because it starts with you. If you keep your socks, your briefs in a certain way at home, you wouldn't spend so much time looking for one socks.
Yeah.
I've heard this expression in the American military that a productive person is the person who lays their bed first thing in the morning. You have at least done something that day by waking up and laying your bed. The same sort of principle applies, I think, to a lot of stuff. If you look after yourself and your environment, it's a reflection of how you will treat people. It's a reflection of how you will apply yourself to work. It's a reflection of how you keep your office. And if you wake up every morning and you're wasting time not being organized. So, yes, I had to pick what I was going to wear last night. I had to then pick subsequent gym clothes. Then I had to pick what I'll wear if I went somewhere else tonight. So I had to make those selections, and I folded them, ironed them, and put them in a bag. Now, that meant that when I woke up this morning, was just shower,
And
get ready, jump in the clothes, and move. No scuffling around. And whatever I need is there. If you have sunglasses, they are arranged together. If you have perfumes, they are arranged together. You know, everything, the shoes, the sandals, everything needs to be where it is, so you are not wasting your time and your effort and your productivity on the silliness. It goes beyond that.
Your outlook.
It does. Because what it does is it makes you organized and productive for the rest of the day. So I think if you're not doing it, give it a try, because it might help you long term.
Interesting. Wow. So what? Well, I'm learning something today. Not to say that it doesn't happen around me, but to go that extra mile of having things properly arranged, just so that you won't wake up in the morning and, you know, scuffling around and wondering where this is and all that. That's interesting. I mean, and you see, coming from men to men, that's just what it is. It's not women who are asking for it, for you to say out there that, oh, we're nagging and we're doing this.
The women now don't have a lot of time to be looking at for
brother to brother. I hope that the people who were asking me those questions, Nana Poku, I hope you understand the importance of me having a 3-man panel. Okay, so I want to also find out some of the downsides. What do you stand to lose as a man if you don't take these things seriously? Does it really matter? I do what I have to do, and if I decide not to, you know, take all that extra care of myself, what do I stand to lose? Really?
Well, in the society we find ourselves, Africa for the matter, there is that tendency to want to live a carefree life because some things do not appear.
People tell you life is short. What's all this? You know, you want to dress up, you're thinking about color combination. Throw something on and get going.
The more
poverty has a lot to do with, you know, our way of dressing and so on. Okay, and sometimes you cannot blame people because what you're talking about, deodorants and all these other moisturizers, mention them, they don't know what it is. You understand? They know of Nkutu, which is fine. When Nkutu has a certain smell, you know, you know, it's a good thing, all right. But it has a certain smell that if you applied it in its raw state, you know, you could rather be doing something counterproductive. So sometimes you don't blame such people.
He could be doing something counterproductive.
But you see, I beg to differ a bit.
Let me finish. So today we have the same Nkuto in more
fragrance and all that.
So yeah, we all use Nkuto and we use the fragrant type so that to give it a little bit of scent. That be like pleasant smell.
Yeah.
You know, and there are others too who they don't, you know, once you reach the adolescence age and this hair from your armpit, I think the doctors can tell you a lot about that. I hear it generates a certain bacteria, you know, which end up, you see the hair becoming, the armpit hair becoming brownish and all that, if it's not kept well. And that is where the smell starts from. And we all, at one point in life, went through adolescence. So it will hit you at a certain point. That smell will hit you because you've reached that stage. But that is when, if you find yourself in that environment where maybe a big brother, mother, whatever, or these schools that we're talking about came in, at least there's that opportunity to learn how to use these limes and other things to start. Before, if you can afford to buy deodorants, you go ahead and do so. Or if your parents can afford to buy those things for you to send to school, all the better. But look at the people from the rural part of our country. Most of the time, you can tell that when they come to the city, that's where they get the opportunity to, you know,
then
learn.
You are sort of agreeing with this message I have here.
Yeah.
It says that you guys are being economical with the truth.
Yeah.
We all were unkempt until we met girls.
There is some truth in it. There is some truth. There is a lot of truth in that. There is some bit of truth in it. Yeah.
You know, you begin to when you get to that adolescence age, and these things start coming near you, or you begin to smell these things. So if you don't get anybody to draw your attention past a certain age, it becomes part of you. People over 40 years, they pass by you and they still the same smell for the past whatever
I know,
years.
right?
Yes, but you ask how that happened. Some of them went through universities and all of that, and they still had the same. You know, so like Daniel said earlier, some may not get it at all. You know, and the downside of it, as you asked, it could cost you your job. Because for me, if you are working for me, first, if I begin to smell those things, I will find a way to get to you. Maybe the first thing I'll do is to buy you a few, bottles or spray of deodorants or whatever as a gift. And see whether from then on you continue or not. Just to draw attention that.
But if your underarm is bushy, and that's where the problem is, and you're applying deodorants and perfume on it, I'm sure you'll just be worsening it.
You see, I have this, maybe later on you can read it. It's a grooming standard. It's a very military, whatever. They have theirs written in, and it has a very detailed from your earrings to the hair cut style and everything in here, how to keep your nails
and all that,
the jewelry, tattoos that are permissible, and all kinds of things, you know. So we haven't gotten there as a country. In Ghana, a lot of people have had it. I mean, Daniel, when he takes pictures and puts on Facebook,
you know that
he always gets it right. I mean, I can't stop.
I can't stop admiring.
My man Kofi, always on point. I watch him on GH1 a lot. On this fashion pandit program, and it's always on point. You know, we have a lot. KKD, for instance, let me be honest with you. Years ago, when, you know, KKD is about a year or so older than I am. So whilst he was in Presec and we were also from wherever we were, they used to have this nightclub in Tema, blah, blah, blah. That was when this guy caught our eyes. He always was on point.
You admired him.
Yes. Then he started work with GBC, and I met him for the first time. I nearly collapsed. He was in a blue suit, had a certain transparent briefcase with his those days LPs and other things in
well
there.
arranged.
Master. And I think KKD is one of the guys who has, or let me say, has mentored a lot of people. Maybe he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But from afar,
people look up to him.
yes. And for me, he was a big influence. And it also helped me to, be whatever. Especially, he's my personal friend. So, of course, I've since picked up a lot of tips from him. And, he brings me gifts here and there once a while. So, if you don't know how to do it,
there are people to look up to.
Yes, look for Daniel.
Look for Honorable Swagger.
Now, you're talking about what we lose. I have been part of situations at least twice where relationship was lost because of personal grooming.
On whose part?
On the man's part.
Okay, I thought it was a personal story.
No, on the man's part. And because the man was a very good friend of mine, I was a good friend to them, I had to come in. But like you're saying, that was the man. This is how I am. I'm okay. And the woman was like, no. Why? Because the lady was asthmatic.
Oh!
So you see, so it was not even using strong perfumes, but you're a man. You've gone to town to go and work.
Oh!
You come back in the evening all sweaty and you just want to sleep. When even water is made ready for you, you still want to sleep. So personal, you've eaten.
She cannot come and kill herself.
You cannot. So for me, I like the basics of. Not everybody will have money to keep a mouthwash in the car. But when you eat, just rinse your mouth with water. You don't have money to buy all the moisturizers. I'm saying, how much is lime? The same Nkuto Honorable was talking about. I'm saying, you can buy Nkuto. Yeah, there's some of these Huintia and the rest that you can use to fry it, and it takes the scent away a bit. So, basic, twice in a day, you have to bath. You eat, you have to rinse your mouth. Keep a gum. I mean, gone are the days that I used to work for Wrigley. How much is PK? Just to keep your breath fresh. You are not a word unto yourself. You are working, or you meet people. What signal would you send if your body has odor? Wow. I mean, you are unkept. Your hair, your beard. Come on, you lose confidence.
And I agree with you on that. I think who you are, how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you dress, how you look after your personal grooming, yes, will determine how far you go in life, and in front of what people you will find yourself.
Absolutely.
It will also determine the friends you make and the type of people you have around you, and it will also determine the type of partner that you attract.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I want us to.
Let me add a bit. Even with perfumes. Okay. When we enter perfumery.
What perfume do you use at what time?
Everybody gets.
Oh, that one also matters.
Absolutely.
Me perfume. So whichever one. Oh, that's it. But even with perfumes, we have those that last for several hours, more than maybe a day. Those that last for a few hours, 2, 3, 4 hours. Others just 2 hours. The colognes last.
There's one
less.
I cannot stand.
Which one?
Is it Amouage or whatever it is?
Amouage.
Oh, geez.
Why can't you stand it?
You're not the only one.
It has an awesome smell. Awesome.
Okay, so that is the fight that I have in my house.
Okay, so there are different type of Amouage. At what time is the person using which one?
Daytime to work. Even when my husband comes back home and he takes his bath and he's leaving.
He loves it. Amouage is solid, man.
And he's like, Adam, you have to get used to it.
The Oud perfumes or whatever they call, those are stronger ones.
Yeah.
They last on the body for a very long time, maybe a day or more sometimes. The Oud perfume, the other one is Oud toilette or whatever.
Yeah, toilette.
I don't know the French is.
Yeah.
Those ones are for maybe
a
few hours,
and
4 or
then-
5 hours. They just face off.
I
And then
see.
the colognes, very 2 hours maximum, it's off. So if you have a very quick program, somebody just coming to your whatever, just put one.
I
or
mean,
two.
this for me is like taking it a bit extreme.
Yeah.
This
There are
sorry.
people
It's
who
all
have
part
been-
of it.
Yeah.
If you don't get it right, you will take the wrong perfume to the
wrong
right
place.
place,
Saneba.
and then everybody will be
like,
Or
can you imagine going for an interview? Can you
People will
imagine
be
a man
sneezing.
going for an interview?
people will be
I know.
sneezing whilst you are,
I know.
having a
You
presentation.
go into an interview, you enter, and your perfume is all over the place at the interview room. What signal are you sending? You
you're
don't-
a strong man now.
Really?
Yeah, now.
Stronger than the person.
You can buy near him.
But I also want to add to that. I think perfumes. I am guilty of perfumes. It's a compulsive issue I have. I like perfumes, but you have to also take into consideration how people are receiving that. It's not just about you. I have a Amouage. I'm conscious of where I wear it to.
Absolutely.
Because I have noticed that some people love it, and some people hate it.
Hate it.
Like,
It's like
I
Marmite.
hate it.
Amouage is like
can't-
Marmite. The blue bottle with the gold star.
The
I can't
intelligence.
stand
That's the intelligence.
So for me, I think it's being conscious of yourself and being conscious of what others have as well. So you can overspray yourself and arrive somewhere and you'll be off-putting to everyone. Can you imagine if all three of us overdid it, how you'll be feeling in this small room?
I'll leave you before you end.
If we did at least half a bottle each before we came in here.
Oh, how?
So that's what I'm saying. You would have been out of. But some people do it. Some people are drenched in it. Some people shake your hands, and the smell they leave in your hands will last you the whole
I know.
day. Some people just don't know how to use perfume in moderation.
Okay.
There are people
I want
who
us
use
to-
the perfume on their body.
Yeah.
With
Before- would Asan wash out?
I want us to bring it home.
Right.
You know, let's relate this conversation to the home. So, I mean, for this man who is married, and I mean, I'm even wondering if you're a woman and you're now complaining about the fact that your husband doesn't smell well, your husband doesn't take good care of himself, and all that. I am wondering why this conversation was not had before you even got married to the person, especially so if you knew it was going to be a problem later. But let's say that you're in it already, or even in a relationship, the man has body odor. The man doesn't take very good care of himself. And the woman try to be on point all the time. And you're just finding it difficult to say to this person. Maybe because of the way they receive it. And there are some men, I mean, he thinks that, I don't know if I shared this with all of you yesterday. I mean, I know this man who, I mean, initially when we met him, he was just all over the place like that. Couldn't be bothered about anything. But got into a business where you're beginning to meet a lot of people, you have a lot of opportunities. And so, like you're saying, he's looking at other people and then he begins to dress well. But the person has, how should I even describe this? Body odor. Let me just put it simply. That's, I mean, no matter the suit he's wearing, no matter how well dressed he is, no matter how good he tries to look, you don't want to be around him for 5 minutes.
Goes back to the source.
I don't want to say that he has body odor, like he smells. Let me just put it that way. He smells really bad. Married with children, and I'm wondering, isn't wifey able to say? And if it's difficult for you to say, how do we handle this? Somebody just sent a message to say that, and then tell them, and this is your husband. How are we able to communicate these to our men such that we don't end up hurting their sensibilities?
I mean,
Yes,
just let me come in. It's not about hurting your sensibilities, okay? Now, it comes back to when you talk of relationship. It comes back to one question. When we are dating, what are we talking about? Okay? I like what Lutrot will say. Dating means you are collecting data. Now, Is it all about that lovey-dovey? Those are the times you need to have frank conversations. Although men with our ego, and so some of these things will be attached to our ego, and so you want to be very tactical in dealing with it. The truth is the truth. I mean, more so when this is a marriage. You are married and this is your husband. You should be able, you should find a way, one way or the other, to have that frank conversation that this is just suffocating me. It's not working. I mean, if it was the woman, will the man have that same conversation? Who wants to go to bed?
These are difficult.
No, but who wants to go to bed with a wife that supposedly the smell is not good? So when it comes to marriage, the two shall be one.
You should say it regardless.
Regardless, there has to be a point that you have that frank woman-to-man
so
talk.
What
then after, you help.
No,
okay,
wait.
the man is
Before
not.
you get to the help,
yes.
There are some men who don't listen, who won't take it. I mean, he's not.
I won't go for that. Men listen. Maybe you the one.
Some men who do not.
Every
listen.
man.
No.
Every single man.
And every man listens.
You need to find out what will make him listen.
It depends
on who you are dealing with.
I want to talk about
okay.
this particular situation because I've had to deal with it several times. One in my career in the UK about body odor, because it's not an easy thing for the person who's receiving, but equally the question is if the person who is given it is aware. This is important. If they are aware, we have a responsibility to tell people, because to let somebody walk away from you without saying to them because you think
don't
it's
even generalize it.
No, I'm going to allow people to leave you without telling them. It's okay because you think, oh, the man might have an ego, I might hurt his pride, whatever that looks like, right? So we leave it. Fundamentally, let's come to relationships first before we go into a professional environment. If you are in a relationship and you are not able to tell your other half something about their grooming, it's not an open relationship. If I'm leaving the house and there's something wrong with me, my wife would not allow it. She will tell me. Is it my choice? I don't care. Sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't listen, but she will tell me. She is not worried to tell me whether my nails are not done properly, whether I'm not smelling right, whether I've used too much perfume or I need to go back and iron my shirt properly. My wife will tell me. So, why is she telling me? Because that's the person I chose to be my wife. You have to remember that people have different taste palettes. What we are saying as body odor, some people, some other house, in some homes, when their husbands are leaving, they think they smell like they smell like roses. You might think it's provocative, it's profuse, but someone else might not smell it. So I think there are different people coming from different backgrounds with different palettes for either hearing, seeing, feeling, and touching, who might react to things differently. However, if you have noticed it on your husband or your wife and you want to say it, you have to find a cool way. In the professional environment, when I was working in retail, first, this was the few steps that they told us. Imagine yourself in that person's place, number one.
Would you like to be told?
Exactly. Talk privately with a person, so make sure it's not something that is said in with an audience. Start the conversation with praise. I'm just saying. I Googled this.
No, wait, but bring it home. I'm talking about, I want us to bring it. This is home.
We want to be able to tell people, right?
Your partner, your husband has this problem.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
So if there's a woman listening, these are the steps. Disarm the person who smells. Be as honest and direct as possible. Ask if they are aware of the smell.
Well, that sounds good, and I think the cultures also have a lot to do with it. Yeah, because even though this particular approach can work in a certain environment,
it wouldn't have
it may not necessarily work in ours.
Yeah,
you get
or in somebody's home.
Yes,
I agree.
I will do it this way if I have the means. I will get you the.
Okay, no, let me turn the question the other way around. I know that you guys are, exceptional.
No,
but if you had that problem, how would you want your wife to approach it?
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe I should turn it the other way.
Imagine my skin, or my body, or my
odor.
neck, that kind of odor. And
how would the woman say it to you such that you won't feel offended?
She shouldn't even say it. She can communicate it in a different way.
Like how?
That's what I'm saying. You just buy me the things that will deal with it.
But sometimes those things make it worse.
It doesn't make it worse because you see, if you bought 10 boxer shorts,
if you are polishing on that,
no, you know your husband likes repeating their boxer shorts. So that tells you probably he doesn't have a lot. Okay. So
buy him
maybe a dozen more, a dozen singlets, and make sure that
he changes them.
They are not. He changes them.
You'll be washing it for him.
What if you don't wash it? Get someone to do it. Because you see, these days, women, as I know, you don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
But you can manage everything.
You can manage everything.
Do you get my point? You don't need to go and do the washing yourself, but you can find a way to handle it. First and foremost, get him, because if the thing smells,
price a number.
Yes. Wash it today, tomorrow you pick it. It is maybe kept in once you enter the bathroom.
You are bathing.
Don't sit in whatever. Put a new one and a singlet. Whilst he's in the bathroom. By the time he comes,
you don't have to do it.
Deodorant and whatever is sitting somewhere. Will he say, "I won't use it"? And by the time he gets used to using yours, I'm sure the message will be drummed home by then.
After 21 days, a character is
because
so
otherwise that's one way. And I think Kofi's approach to that's a frank discussion.
Yeah, I agree.
You will go for the
I agree that, I think depending on geographical, the conversation changes. But I am still stuck in my ways of I want frank and honest.
Absolutely.
And I just want to talk. And then my pride and my ego can deal with it.
Right.
So
sometimes your pride and ego, but after a while, hey,
it won't hurt. At the back of your mind, when you lie down on your pillow, when you sit in your car, you know that I have been told the truth and I have to deal with it.
I have been told the truth and I have to deal with it. And I can imagine that some of these problems also affect our sexual lives, doesn't it?
Why not?
Sometimes the woman saying, I am tired, I am this. Sometimes it's all because, I can't stand you kissing me. I can't stand you holding me just because of the... And then that's all you want to do. And Kobe.
And you want to go and kiss. She will find excuses for you.
These are men to men.
Well, if the men also want to talk about their women sometimes.
That is another level. And that conversation has been had several times. This is the one we really haven't had. We haven't put the men on the chopping board like that. So today it's good that it is coming from men to men. It's not coming from us to them, so they don't say that when nagging. Oh, but honestly, some people do very well. The boy in my house, for instance, he does it to a fault. My boy, my husband. That guy can wear like 5 briefs in a day. What is that?
In front of the mirror.
Especially on the weekends when he's home. He goes to use the bathroom. He comes like, what is wrong with you? It's like, okay, you're not the one who is washing. I'm like, okay, but this thing is not dirty. So what is this? And sometimes, it's interesting how some men will tell you, see, I didn't have this luxury of having so much and being able to buy them for myself when I was young.
Now that I can afford.
So now that I can afford, let me just feel good in it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
But yes, I'll be activating the phone line. So now you can start calling us 0302216541. Mothers want to feel appreciated and fulfill their traditional role as nurturers by preparing tasty meals that their families enjoy. That's why you need Onga, Mama's helping hand. Onga provides Mama with a superior taste, aroma, and flavor-enhancing ingredients that ensures that she is appreciated by the family. Onga has a concentrated level of flavor, aroma, and taste, and therefore requires a small amount of seasoning to achieve great results. Onga is extremely quick, easy, and convenient to use. Onga, Mama's helping hand. And yay, mealtime for babies has become delicious with Yum Vita. Yum Vita is packed with 16 essential vitamins and minerals, and it's so easy to digest. Yum Vita infant cereal has omega-3 to aid in the healthy development of your child's brain. Yum Vita comes in 3 delicious flavors: wheat, maize, and rice. Go on and give baby variety. Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow. Airtime, taxi fare, hot kinky, or ice cream. What can 20 CDs buy you? You think it, and that's exactly what we will give you when you buy the Riverman Productions early bird ticket. The brand new Ibu White play, I Want Your Wife. Shows at the National Theatre on the 6th, 7th, 13th, and 14th July at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. daily. And from now till 16th June 2019, the early bird tickets are selling for only 60 Ghana cedis, saving you a whopping 20 for that ice cream. That's kinky. Airtime or taxi fare. That's a good one. Tickets are available at Joy FM, Bachuna, and Hache Total, Motorway Supermarket, Shell Shops at airports, Dansuman, Sakaman, East Legon, Achimota, and Tama Community 11, Frankie's, Sakaman, Goyle, Miles, 7 Goyle, and Quick and Fine Supermarket opposite UPSA. Or WhatsApp 050-554-6030 for details, inquiries, and deliveries. Sponsors Bond Savings and Loans, Kush Fruit Juice, Old Mutual Life Assurance Company Limited, and Max Mart Fun House. Media partners Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy News, Joy Prime, Adum TV, Praise TV, SBN TV, myjoyonline.com, adumonline.com, primenewsgh.com, pulsegh.com, ghanaweb.com, Gold Street, Business Daily Guide, B&FT Logistics Movers, and DDP Outdoor. Riverman Productions, early bird ticket. Buy your tickets now. Terms and conditions do apply. Hi, Andrew. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Good morning. That's good. You are touching a very sensible situation. So we need to deal with that situation. Now, Eden, it is true that when we find our girlfriends before we start making our personal hygiene, it is true, very, very true. And also, if you have this very odor, body odor, and you don't take lemon to take it away, and then you put on your perfume or any deodorant, it's going to be worse. So people should know that without a perfume and then a deodorant, you can also use the lemon, and then everything will be off, and then you'll be free.
All right.
One advice, yeah.
Andrew, thank you very much for that advice. And Andrew corroborates the fact that most men begin to look out for their grooming and personal hygiene when they find girlfriends.
Some men, not most men.
Some men.
That is why I always tell you, I want to go back to the source. Parenting, home, living with aunties, grannies. What were we taught? And so what are we teaching our kids growing up?
Yeah.
What you teach and train them with is what they grow with.
I think these days we pamper our children too much. Like, back then, our parents sometimes instilled some of these things with very harsh methods.
Yeah.
They could be taking you to school, and then your mother smells something. They'll bring you back home. Come and take your bath and sleep.
Yeah.
If the school is important to you, tomorrow you take very good care of yourself before we leave the house. But these days we pamper our children a lot, and sometimes we pamper them to a fault. Hello,
you have
Eben.
this
Good morning.
experience? Okay,
Yeah. Eben, good morning.
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Adam,
Eben.
good morning.
Your name.
Good morning to all of you. I think this program is very, very good. It is touching a very sensitive part of land marriage. And I quite remember that at a point I had this nasal problem. And sometimes when I sneeze, the smell comes out. I didn't know. I didn't know. It took my wife to tell me. So I think some of these things we need to be very, very frank and honest to tackle it. Because my wife told me that, hey, when you go out there, you are carrying me. And when I go out there, I'm carrying you. So I can't watch you go out there with this thing. So this topic should be a very open discussion between husband and wife. And I think when we do that, we'll be able to help each other, because we enter into marriage expecting that we'll make our partner better than they were before. If that is our mindset, I believe that we'll be able to deal with some of these issues without any quarrels. We need to tackle it head on. So that is my contribution to you.
Thank you very much, Eben. They're so agreeing with you. It's not funny. There's a message here. It says, Adam, please, how can we tell our husbands to bring down pot bellies that were not there before marriage? Me. This one is difficult to read, but I'll try and read it. She says, me, I am not comfortable with smelly fats, and my husband doesn't want to eat right. You're sleeping, and you have to cover your nose. This is from Abena.
That is another subject for another.
It's part of it.
She should take it easy, because she's almost at her wit's end from the way. So she should, if she really wants to solve this problem, she should tone down. And look for solutions. Because where she's looking for an exit, it looks like.
Maybe she has said it several times, it's not happening. This one says that, Adam, about this other thing, my former roommate in the university has a very strong one. When we alerted him, he said that is his natural spray. People are aware of their odors, but love it because they like the smell. This is from Haza all the way in Moscow. Hello, Godwin. Godwin, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
By His grace.
All right, let's hear you.
It's a fantastic program. In fact, seriously, I like the topic. So keep it up. I think I wish you do it every weekend, at least, so that we all learn. Because we are always, all of us have this problem, especially me myself personally. Sometimes I do wear my boxer twice or a day, twice, yes. Let's say if I wear it today, the next day I have to wear it again. So my wife will complain, but I don't care. But what you are saying now, she's here, she say, hey, listen to the program. You see what I've been telling you all the time. So it's very good. Keep it up. Thank you very much.
What about the men who deliberately refuse to bathe before bedtime with excuses that bathing in the evening makes them oversleep? Yeah.
That is just an excuse.
No means of communication is able to make them improve. They do it a couple of times and then slip back. What will your panelists tell them?
For me, I think that is silly. If
absolutely,
and I think it reciprocates. It should be both ways. Both male and female should make a conscious effort, if you're married, to have a shower or make sure you're clean before you go to bed. Whether anything is going to happen or not, it's important that you are conscious that you've had a long day. You are you're sweaty. You probably had a lot of body stuff going on, and it's time to freshen up and go to bed.
And even when you touch yourself,
even the deodorant and the perfumes you have used throughout the whole day, you need to wash them off. You need to wash them. But do you remember when we were kids? If you won't bath, your mom will wait for you to sleep and pour a bucket of water on you.
No, that was
you don't want to experience it, so.
What I did to my kids yesterday, when they finished, they said, "Mommy, never again." I said, well, "Never again depends on you people. How do you mess up your room like that and go to bed?" I waited, they slept. Then around 10 p.m., I had to wake them up to clean up the room.
Simple. You want to enjoy your sleep.
It's funny you should say that, Ellen.
Long faces.
I still remember childhood that every evening we were all freshly bathed and powdered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's powders on our face,
your
armpits.
Yeah.
We were all powdered.
Sometimes you're bathed with the powder.
So fundamentally, it's almost something that was inherent in our upbringing as well.
True.
I think was we've sort of tried to emulate and keep that up.
Great.
In our
So once again, mealtime for babies has become delicious with Yum Vita. Yum Vita is packed with 16 essential vitamins and minerals, and it's so easy to digest. Yum Vita instant cereal has omega-3 to aid in the healthy development of your child's brains. Yum Vita comes in 3 delicious flavors: wheat, maize, and wheat and rice. So go on and give baby variety. Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow. And yes, indeed, mothers want to feel appreciated and fulfill their traditional roles as nurturers by preparing tasty meals that their families enjoy. That's why you need Onga, Mama's helping hand. Onga provides Mama with a superior taste, aroma, and flavor-enhancing ingredients that ensures that she is appreciated by the family. Onga has a concentrated level of flavor, aroma, and taste, and therefore requires a small amount of seasoning to achieve great results. Onga is extremely quick, easy, and convenient to use. Onga, Mama's helping hand. Okay, so our time is almost up. And I'd like us to wrap up on this conversation. What will they? I mean, what would be your final words? You know, everything we have said, and how would you want to conclude this?
For me, I want to put it out there that you need to be conscious of how you're being received. And how you're being received is about how you look, how you speak, how you carry yourself. And your body is a temple, right?
Yeah.
And if it's a temple, then you must treat it as such. People have more respect for you. You get opportunities to meet important people. You get opportunities to progress in your career. And it all across the board, cleanliness is next to godliness. And if you look after yourself, well, I presume God will give you whatever it is that you need from life as well.
All right. Thank you very much, Kofi. And from you, Danny?
You can overemphasize the point. The way you dress is the way you are dressed. For me, just to add up to what Kofi has said, as parents and as young men and as friends and as colleagues, we need to groom our children well. Yeah. Because if you look at the three of us, one thing that we spoke about was how from the beginning, from parents, from aunties, from all the people that we stayed with, the kind of training that they gave us. At that point, I don't think they were these perfumes and all that, but we were taught how to groom ourselves, to be clean and all that. And so, as parents, let's make sure we are training our kids. For married couples, it's a frank conversation, and if we have to have it, we got to have it.
You got to have it. And finally, from you, Naval.
Yeah, the word grooming has some animal connotation to it. Okay, because you groom horses and dogs and pets and others. I mean, it's also part of the grooming, the word grooming. So even if pets, okay, are supposed to be groomed, animals for that matter.
How much?
You know, then human beings,
we don't have a
we have no choice.
We have no excuses,
but to keep
actually.
ourselves as
clean as possible.
And then the confidence we need to exude wherever we find ourselves. Not the overconfident type, you know. You must dress to be confident, not overconfident. Sometimes we over elaborate, and then you get to the place and you have overwhelmed everybody. You know, it's either you are overly dressed or overly perfumed, or you know, you've taken over the color of the choice of dress you are wearing.
Keep it under control.
You know,
and keep it real.
We need to tone things down, be as mild as possible.
Thank you very much. It's been an insightful conversation, and we have some guests here. I hear today is World Milk Day. Is it, Daniela? Okay, so we have products from who is visiting us, Dano Milk. Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you for the gift. Please put it here so that our camera can capture it. Thank you very much for showing us love this morning. Wow. God bless you. Dano Milk, come and put your products on Home Affairs and sponsor us as well, so that you don't just bring us gifts. We want, yes.
Which type of the milk, sir?
Every milk is milk. Daddy, please don't come and find problems for me. Every milk is milk. And I'm Food 101 for bringing us breakfast this morning. We say thank you very much. Okay, so this is how we end the conversation. And stay well groomed. We the women, we also like it. If you have developed pot bellies, you didn't carry pregnancy, but now you are.
This time it's mutual. the pot bellies.
It creates a lot of problems. So.
No one-sided.
It creates a lot of problems. So let's as much as possible try to keep ourselves, especially the men. Some of you men take things for granted, and honestly, we don't like it like that. So please. You to look well. When we step out with you, we're looking good. You also look good. And then, that is mutual as well, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kofi. Thank you, Danny. And thank you, Honorable Saga, for gracing our show this morning. And keep swagging on. We're looking out for you. My name is Adam Nightstay. Thank you, Daniela, and Fairboy as well.
I love it when my children ask me,